Hello everyone. So I just want to make a quick review of this Manna 1-gallon thermos. I picked this thing up at Costco. On Amazon it's about $50 to $60, and there are a couple other brands that are clearly just exact copies of the same one. So you can just see there's virtually no changes. Now right off the bat I just want to say this thermos is okay. First of all, it really doesn't hold hot liquid for that long. So for example, say it's 9 p.m. I fill this thing up 75% of the way with hot tea, and just in terms of temperatures, it's probably between 50 and 65 degrees and wherever the thermos is, so it's not really that cold at all. By around noon or 2 p.m. the next day, the tea it's not really even hot, it's just above lukewarm. And honestly, I think, I don't know, it's really not that great considering just how much liquid is in here. I've had thermoses in the past, I haven't really used them quite a few years, but from my memory, they always held the temperature much longer than this. So that's one thing. It's really not that big of a deal if you're not heading out for 2 days. I don't think it's really that big of a deal. Now, the things that I mainly don't like about it, one thing I just want to mention, if you read the reviews, it makes perfect sense, but I'm just going to lower the camera a little so you can see. So some of the people said that this strap here cracks and it breaks, and if you look at the way this is held in place, the handle, it's essentially just clipped on by this plastic strap. So if you were to drop this or just sort of crack in any way, the handle will fall off. So if you're planning to keep this thing, I would definitely just wrap something or anything around here. That way, if this were to fail, all of the, essentially the whole thing wouldn't fall. And this isn't such a big deal for most products, but you're gonna have this thing filled with possibly incredibly hot liquid. The last thing you want to be doing is pouring it and have the handle here fall off and just like dump a whole bunch of boiling water over yourself or anyone. This leads to the other point where the way the cap is designed, it's really not great. First off, it can be used as a cup, but it clearly is not intended for that, and it makes an awkward kind of cup. Just other thermoses I've seen had a stackable design where multiple cups can be put on top of each other, not really adding much bulk to the thermos itself. Also, both caps, the little cap and the large one, are very easy to screw on or unscrew, in the sense that even someone 2.5 years old could undo this, which is kind of a problem considering it can be filled with boiling water. Also, the way the cap works, for example, when you screw this on, the top, it screws on to like a tightness level. The main part, once you screw it on, it just kind of hits an end point where it just stops. And multiple people have said that this leaks, and considering there's just one little gasket in there that I've kind of already fallen out once or twice and I had to kind of put it in there, I could totally see that after a while, once this gasket runs out, the fact that you're not actually tightening this all the way, you're just reaching a certain point, a predefined point, that it would cause it to leak. Once again, leaking boiling water is not great, but at least it'll probably be dripping out and not pouring out like a huge fountain of boiling water. So those are really my 2 cents. I just like this is the thermos itself is fine. The handle design is poor. It's nice that it has a little stand here, so it doesn't roll over. Well, the stand is very small, so if you just lightly touch it, it will roll back over. But and as I said, it loses heat fairly quickly, which I would imagine would be the same for the cold. And I really think the issue with that is just this cap design. If this had a proper cap, something that, for example, inserted inside, and then like most thermoses, there's something that goes inside the hole that screws in here, and then the outer part goes on top, and maybe there's even a third section. So those are really my 2 cents. If you just need a thermos, it is 1 gallon. It's a ton of liquid, so if you're just bringing it for the day, or you're not planning to bring it for more than a day, I think it's pretty great. Especially if you're using it by yourself, you don't really have kids, you're not like worried about any kind of safety situation, or just, I mean, it is still like a ton of boiling water. Like even if you, for example, most of the other thermoses, they have a little button that you press that immediately close and open. So say even if you pour yourself a cup of tea or something like that, and you don't close this and every single time open and close it, which is kind of annoying. If this thing gets knocked over, it can still pour a whole bunch of boiling water just over your lap. So it's just not great. So like I said, check this thing out if you just like need something right now, but overall I don't recommend it. And if you look online, I'll link a couple, but there are a couple thermoses that are clearly just exact copies of this. They're just exactly the same thing. So yeah, those are my 2 cents. I'm going to keep this thing because I'm not sure. I might return it. I think I'm probably going to return it now that I think of it. But considering thermoses have been around for, I don't even like 100 years, more, just they could really design this thing better. There could be tons of little additions. You could have even like little hooks so you can carry it around on a strap, or have cups in here, have better design of like a small flow, large flow, maybe even have like a bowl that sits in there. So I don't know if you have some oatmeal or something like that, you could have that and pour hot water in it. It really is kind of like a product where you could think of tons of different things that you could just add to it. But even in the most basic here, it's kind of a fail.